First of all, welcome to IOL Sport and Mzansi MMA, Peter. So we appreciate you making time and reaching out to us, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, I know you have some history with Lauren Mack, and I know you cover, broader sports and obviously MMA. And so we do appreciate your interest. Thank you.
All good, man. So let's just get straight into it. I hope we can finish in time. First of all, the big news: one of the largest MMA promotions in the world plans on coming to Africa. Can you just elaborate when, where, what exactly is going down?
Oh, well, absolutely, Julian. We're really excited about the continent of Africa. I mean, the opportunity in MMA, we think, is massive on a number of levels throughout key regions and countries, within the continent, including obviously South Africa, the Congo, and Nigeria. So we're very bullish, on the market and the potential for MMA and the PFL. And in 2021, PFL, we had fairly expansive distribution of our 2021 season, which we just wrapped up last month. We had distribution partnerships with NBC, ESPN Africa, Star Times, and WADA in French-speaking countries. So we think we have a very good foundation. But in 2022, what we're excited about is our expanding the number of events overall to distribute throughout the continent. So we'll expand our our season format from 10 to 11 events in this February and March in 2022. We're going to launch a new property called the PFL Challenger Series, where we have emerging athletes who are pros from around the world, who are fighting and vying, if you will, and aspiring to get into the season where you have $1 million on the line. So we'll have 8 events, 8 consecutive weeks in February and March on Friday nights, where every event a fighter will be awarded a contract. And with respect to African fighters, I mean, we've had a number of fighters over the years, including a standout in 2021 from South Africa, Don Madge. Yeah. But fans can anticipate that we'll be signing other athletes from Africa, not just South Africa, but throughout the continent to compete not only in the Challenger Series, but also in the season. So that's number one in terms of opportunities for African athletes. Number two, as I mentioned, we have expanded content to distribute, Challenger Series plus expanded season events. And then we really look forward to staging events in Africa. And we have a number of conversations going on, and we're excited about the market in the nation of Congo, dynamic cities such as Kinshasa. Yeah. We think the time is right to bring sports and entertainment spectacle to the Congo and throughout the continent. So we're very, very excited about the potential there.
Yeah, we obviously we are in South Africa. Also, the EFC is one of obviously the top promotions, or actually the top promotion in Africa. And the matchmakers, Graham Cartmel and the President Kayla Harrison, they always speak of the eliteness and the toughness of the Congolese athletes. So I see where you're coming from in terms of also just diving further into that pool of talent and athletes, because obviously there's such amazing talents, and they're just obviously naturally born athletes also coming from the DRC and the Brazzaville Congo.
Absolutely. And listen, there's great history with martial arts and MMA in Africa. And, you mentioned EFC, a number of organizations, including EFC, And we're excited about growing the sport. I mean, our mission at the PFL is to reimagine, grow, and advance the sport. And it starts with great fighters and staging great fights. But, we're a global property. Half of our fighters are from outside the US on our roster. And so we're going to be signing over 100 new fighters for the 2022 season. New fighters on the season roster, and then a complete new lineup of fighters in the new property in the Challenger Series. And Ray Cefa, who is our president of fighter operations, he and his team are having a number of conversations with managers and promotions throughout the continent of Africa about providing opportunity for African fighters and athletes.
Cool. So just if I may, without any disrespect, so it's sort of something similar to the Contender series, like the Dana White Contender series. Is that sort of something you're planning on doing with this new show?
Say that again, Julie. I didn't understand that.
With regards to the new series, it's something similar to the Dana White Contender series. It's something similar to that kind of product, just to give fans more.
I mean, here's what I would say. It's the Contender series meets American Idol meets PFL.
Okay, nice.
And I say that, because it's fighters who are looking to get discovered, who may not have or may not are pros, but may not have the experience. As many of the fighters in our league, and are looking to break through, and we're going to give those fighters that opportunity. But we're also going to bring a panel of judges, icons from MMA, icons from broader combat, and icons from broader sports, as well as even entertainment influencers. The opportunity to provide judging, commentary, context, and driving conversation each event, and weighing in on who they believe should get the contract each night after 4 big fights.
Okay.
And then we're also going to invite fans from around the world to weigh in. And so, it's going to be not only an exciting night of fights, and in each event, there's this dream fulfillment where an athlete will have earned the opportunity or the right to get a contract with the PFL, but there's going to be great conversation and entertainment value as part of the production.
Awesome stuff. And then also, you spoke about significant, or your colleagues informed me about significant deals that you will have that will have an impact on the African MMA landscape in a big way. And I just spoke earlier about these conversations you're going to be having also in lining up these, obviously the new the future in terms of coming to Africa. Also, can you just elaborate more on any of the deals, or is that something you'd like to keep under wraps until you seal the deal, so to say?
Yeah, so first and foremost, on distribution, we'll be making announcements before the end of the year.
Okay, awesome.
On our expanded distribution tied to our year-round live event calendar. So give us till the end of the year, but we're really excited about those conversations. We recently hired an executive to lead our international distribution efforts. He came from WWE, okay. James Fruin. We have an office now in London, and James is leading those conversations. So that's exciting. We bring more resource to the rest of the world, and we'll be making those announcements before the end of the year. So that's on distribution and our expanded calendar of live events. And what I should say on the calendar of live events, to add to the Challenger Series and the season events, we're also going to be adding pay-per-view to the mix. So that's another new property in the live event space that fans can expect. So, more content. And then, what we are developing real time with in market, what I would say, partners and experts, creating a plan to further develop athletes, events in Africa, and from new events, as well as tied to our existing calendar of events for next year. We're excited not only about expanded distribution and signing new fighters, but we're excited to bring big events to the continent. And that is a priority for the company, not just internationally, but for the market of Africa.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Thank you, man. And then, Peter, we obviously know that research shows that in the next 30 years, there will more than half the world's population will be from Africa, which is quite an extraordinary reality and bodes well in terms of investment growth in certain sectors if they're conducted properly. Not to mention our tie with the fact that the growth spurt of MMA, which has been globally, but also more specifically in Africa. Culturally, as you spoke of, you're going to bring brands from not only inside combat sport, but outside for the show as well. I'm not sure if you're aware also gender-based violence is obviously a big issue in Africa as well. Is that something that you guys would look at latching onto in terms of empowering females going forward or having any specific female-orientated programs as well?
Well, listen, I mean, number one, we're a global organization. Number two, we provide both men and women, professional athletes who are men and women, equal opportunity. We have amazing fighters like Kayla Harrison, one of the most dominant fighters in MMA. Kayla is two-time Olympic gold medalist in the U.S. in judo. She's now undefeated in MMA, two-time champion in the PFL. And as I said, she's one of the most dominant fighters in MMA today, not just women, but of all men and women fighters. Claressa Shields, you saw her make her MMA debut with the PFL in 2021. Again, Claressa, another two-time Olympic gold medalist in the U.S., but in boxing. Greatest woman of all time as a pro boxer, 4 belts today, and she's now had 2 professional fights. And she's developing in MMA with the PFL. So we're excited about having Claressa on our event cards next year in 2022 as well for fans. And then in Africa, we're going to be very thoughtful culturally, but we do have our principles that we certainly will showcase.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, Ben. And then whenever I watch your shows, I really appreciate the structure of the PFL system. It sort of really rewards the hardest working and most consistent athletes, if I may. Is this something you guys pride yourself on, having a league system like the traditional soccer, rugby, cricket, football leagues around the world? It truly shows who the deserved champion is at the end of the day, like rewarding consistency, heading into that semi-final showdown. And do you feel that such a system is something that the fans are more drawn to because of that close link to leagues in other sports across the world also, and has been proven over the years? I mean, you don't just, and I'm not downing any other promotion, but these days you get a fighter who can just come in and take a belt, but obviously it's based on pay-per-views. But I mean, the PFL sort of, it draws home to that old school soccer, rugby, NFL, like a real league system where fighters or athletes, you have to prove yourself over time to really be rewarded with that $1 million cash prize at the end and the belt. So, I mean, it's just something that I really appreciate, and it's something I'm sure you guys pride yourself on, eh?
No, Julian, you're spot on. I mean, number one, as it relates to, we're now the number 2 MMA global organization. We're proud of that, but there's so much more growth ahead for the sport and the PFL. And, what's driving that for the PFL? Number one, it's great fighters and great fights, obviously. And on our roster of fighters, both from the U.S. and internationally, top-ranked fighters, we have a growing percentage, over 40% of our fighters will be ranked in the top 25 in the world in their respective weight class. We have star talent that we've developed. We'll continue to recruit additional star talent from around the world. So, that's the key driver. But what's propelling our growth is absolutely what you said, Julian, is 3 differentiators. Number 1, true sport format. Works for all major leagues and sports in the world, including, the number 1 sport in the world, football, meaning soccer, very relevant in Africa. And whether it's a team sport or individual sport, fighters, athletes have the opportunity to earn their way through a regular season, through our playoff model, win in advance or lose and go home, and then have the opportunity. It culminates with the world championship, with total of 6 world title fights, where you have $1 million on the line and a weight class belt for the season. And so it really does mirror other major sports leagues and the success that they've had, and we've applied it to MMA. And it really is driving growth as well as attracting top talent. And then for the fans, it's easy to watch. Fans can invest in a fighter's journey or a cross-section of the fighter's journey, and to see them battle through over 7 to 8 months in what is the toughest format in all of MMA. You have to get through 4 fights and win to get that belt and to get that big purse. So it's definitely driving our growth, and we think it's relevant for the sports fan in Africa. And then our second differentiator is technology. Our cage is the smart cage, proprietary technology that helps us capture and integrate within our broadcast and streams measuring athlete performance, fighter data, fight analytics. It really gamifies the experience. It's a young product, meaning younger skewing for that 18 to 34-year-old fan base. And then finally, storytelling. That's the third differentiator. The PFL is built on, as a fighters first organization, we really pride ourselves in telling great stories about the athlete's journey. And that's what builds the emotional connection with fans.
Awesome stuff. And then, Pete, obviously the PFL has some big investors and brand names on board, and you guys are doing a great job in pumping the sport and growing MMA, also a discipline that still, it has and still struggles to get investment, especially in parts of the world, including Africa. What would you credit your success to for getting brands, sports, and music personalities on board to invest with the PFL, making you guys one of the biggest in the world today? Because, if I do research on you guys, I always see such positivity regarding investment and how the business has grown. What would you credit that growth to?
Well, yeah, a few factors. Number one, we have a world-class ownership group, titans from sports, media, entertainment, and technology. Number two, we have an incredible team. Our leadership team and the overall company, we have expertise and credibility in MMA, but equally important, we have broader expertise in broader sports, media, entertainment, and technology. And we really leverage everyone's expertise into creating, an incredible premium and innovative product and premium brand. And then three, in terms of, brands, when you think about global brands and sponsors and leading brands in their respective categories, MMA is the growth sport of this decade. There are 550 million fans and growing today, MMA avid fans. 80% of this fan base is outside the U.S. A very large percentage from outside the U.S. Fans throughout Africa. We recognize that, and brands understand that MMA is now mainstream. It's a growth sport, and it's a younger skewing sport. and half of the fans in MMA are not watching stick and ball sports. So they represent new consumers.
Yeah, it's a sport. It's a sport and it's a culture. Eh?
It absolutely is. I mean, number one, it's, as it relates to popular culture, it really is in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And it has its own subculture within MMA, and that's what makes it exciting and dynamic. So we're really excited about all of those factors from or what's driving the growth, from our ownership group to our management team to major brands now getting in the sport and partnering with the PFL because of this fan base and consumer base opportunity. And then, culturally, not only, our brands getting in the mix, but the entertainment community is getting in the mix. Wiz Khalifa is part of our ownership group. He plays a role in helping to shape the brand and the voice of the PFL. Yeah. And we're excited about Wiz getting more and more involved in 2022, as well as other influencers from the broader entertainment community.
Yeah, you should bring him with you. He's got the big fan base here in South Africa. I can tell you that. Very big fan base.
Well, we are having conversations with Wiz and his team about events outside the U.S. So, more to come on that.
Awesome stuff, man. Shout out to Wiz. Then
right on.
Just tell us, what made you decide on the 6 division stable? Why not less? Why not more? And how did it come about, those specific weight classes? I mean, it seems to be working for you guys. And I mean, I like the fact that it's not 10 weight classes, but it's obviously compact, but I mean, it works. You have it packed. And I mean, it's just something that's really awesome to look at. I mean, you have those couple of women divisions, and then you have a couple of men's divisions. How did it come about? You only chose those. Why not less? Why not more?
Yeah, no, well, we felt, more than that to launch when we launched in 2018, that would be too many. We needed to focus, and we wanted to really attract some of the best talent from around the world in those specific weight classes. And it absolutely has worked for us. We have some of the best athletes in MMA across those weight classes. You look at Ray Cooper, our welterweight champion, from Hawaii, as Ray Sefo would say, and other experts in the MMA sport would tell you, Ray Cooper is not only, the top welterweight and champion in the PFL, but he is absolutely one of the best welterweight fighters in the world, bar none. So, that's what we're proud of when we go in to develop, not to grow the sport, grow the PFL and develop athletes. We're very focused on, how we identify, develop, and curate our roster. And we've proven that out in our ability to give fighters the opportunity to become bona fide stars. We have that in Kayla Harrison. We have that in Ray Cooper. And we have top talent across all those weight classes. So we really did focus on a limited number of weight classes to own it. We'll continue to do that over time. We'll certainly add more weight classes in the mix, as well as give select fighters from other weight classes opportunities to have showcase fights with us. I think that's exciting part of the mix to come.
Cool stuff. And then I think you're one of the only top leagues in the world who have the women's lightweight division, and it's something that always caught my attention. Why don't we have heavier female categories? Can you just chat about that bigger division and the importance of having the lightweight division for females also?
Yeah, we just felt women's 155. We were the first ever to launch, and I believe today to have fighters in that weight class. And it was our view is something to continue to grow the sport and deliver those athletes that opportunity to fight in this weight class, including Kayla Harrison. And there are many athletes, in the sport. We felt who were challenged in making weight in other weight classes, and we felt it was the right time and the perfect fit. And now it is a core weight class in the sport today. So we launched it, we own it, we're going to continue to develop it. But again, we will be providing other weight class fighters outside of those 6 weight classes opportunities outside of the season format to fight under the PFL banner.
Okay, now the most important question, Peter. Obviously, there's a lot of people. I think Kayla, Chris Sauerborg was interested in that fight also. Are there any concerns of her moving over to the UFC or to Bellator? Or are you guys confident you were able to keep her at the PFL?
Oh no, we're planning our future. Next season it's going to be great. Again, we're proud of what Kayla has accomplished, and we're excited about her career ahead, as well as the PFLs together, for sure.
And just quick, also just reveal to you what will happen in a fight between Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison.
That is the fight that fans want to see, and that's something that we're working toward making possible.
Awesome stuff. Thanks for entertaining that one, man. And then
yep.
In terms of Don Madge, will he be playing any sort of ambassadorial role for you guys when you do fly over to Africa, seeing that he's a homeboy from the motherland?
Yeah, well, listen, every fighter who fights for the PFL, we have a saying, what do you fight for? And consistently, because we have fighters from, next year, it'll certainly be over 25 countries. These fighters are not only fighting for themselves to become champions, but they're also representing their countries. And so absolutely, Madge will play a role to help us market the sport and the PFL in Africa, and specifically South Africa. And other fighters will play a role as well.
And then just tell me, what did it mean for you guys to actually have Don sign with you guys? Were you surprised in any way? Or do you just feel like, because a lot of people, I personally gave him credit, because some people, they obviously get blinded by the lights. They're just in the UFC and they will sit for how long, but the fact that they have a UFC contract, but this guy, he started a family, he was waiting very long to get a fight. He's obviously an elite athlete. He could have rolled with the top dogs in the lightweight division. And then he came to PFL. Obviously the UFC at the moment is the biggest brand in the world. How important was it for you guys that he actually came over to you guys, and what did it mean to you guys also?
Oh no, we're not surprised at all. We're in every major conversation of most elite athletes in the world today. Fighters now have an alternative they didn't have years ago. Athletes, fighters across the board, what they're looking for is, number one, top competition. PFL has incredible fighters, top ranked from around the world. So that's number one. Two, what else do fighters want? They want to fight on the global stage. We have distribution with premium media outlets that covers 160 countries. In addition, fighters want a clear shot at becoming champion, and they have the opportunity of the PFL to earn that. And candidly, our competitors can't provide that transparent path. We're the only ones in the world that really provide that type of transparency, and it speaks to true athletes. They have the opportunity to earn their way. They're not one of many. They're one of a select number of limited fighters in a weight class who have earned the right or have the credentials to be in the PFL, and then they have to earn it. So that's the reason why, Don signed with the PFL, and no surprise, and more to come on top signings.
For sure. And obviously, Justin Gaethje, a lot of athletes, they're talking about, how unfair the system works, and people are just getting title shots ahead of them, and everybody's just fighting over that top two position and getting the shot at the belts. Do you feel that your competitors could be worried about the future in terms of not having sort of system and structure that you guys have, like you said, that honest way to the championship?
Yeah, no, we're not concerned with any of our competitors. We're focused on, what we're building at the PFL. Again, reimagining, growing, advancing the sport while we scale the league, both here in the U.S. and internationally. And, we're a fighters first organization. We know that we're providing fighters with alternatives. So, fighters now have options, and, we're focused on what we're building. And we do think it solves for many of the challenges that exist today with other organizations.
Okay, cool. I just got a notification that you don't have much time left, Pete. Just one last word for all our African fans. Obviously, I haven't spoken to anybody yet about it, but I know my colleagues and a lot of the fans that we speak to are going to be very excited at the news. Just one last message for the fans out there on behalf of the Professional Fighters League.
Well, 2022 PFL is coming to Africa in a very meaningful way, and what I could tell you is, in the new year, we will be making an executive team tour, including myself, in addition to several fighters, to promote the sport, start laying groundwork for building the sport up at the grassroots level. And then, as I mentioned, the Challenger Series will absolutely have fighters from Africa competing to get into the 2022 season. So, much more to come, but we're excited about come January launching a PFL management team plus fighter tour as we make announcements on some of the exciting new news that we're going to be executing in 2022 in Africa.
Awesome stuff. Peter Murray, thank you so much for your time, sir. It's been a pleasure chatting to you, and hope to chat to you soon, and you must have a blessed day further. Eh?
Absolutely, and I'll see you in January.
Most definitely, sir, and keep well.
Looking forward to it. Hey, thanks, Julian, and stay well. Cheers.
You too, man. That's only a pleasure. Cheers.
Peace.